The Crypto Street podcast is hosted by Crypto Dale, Prince, and Killer Whale, who can be found on Twitter at CryptoDale, at Killer Whale, K1LLERWH4LE, and at 13Prince31. None of this should be construed as investment advice. For information on how to join our private Telegram group, The Pod, please email tcsp@protonmail.com. The Crypto Street podcasts are officially sponsored by 21 Cryptos, the world's first and only cryptocurrency trading magazine. Visit 21cryptos.com and enjoy 50-plus pages of pro tips and predictions, an analysis of the best 21 coins to invest in for the month, trading lessons and articles from your favorite pros, price action event calendars, entertainment, and lots more. Stay ahead of the game and get your copy today. Visit 21cryptos.com.
Yo, what is up? Welcome everybody to another episode of Crypto Street Podcast. My name, as always, is Crypto Dale. I'm joined with Killer Whale.
That's right. Dale's name has not changed since last time. Hey, everybody.
Even though sometimes I play Santa Dale, so ladies, if you're naughty, we'll give free spankings out, but just kidding. Prince, my man, what's up?
Yeah, hey, here as always, talking into my potato.
Live from Canada.
Yep.
Our guest tonight is standing 5'11". He's weighing in at 185 with 3% body fat.
A lean he is
he's one of my favorite. I'm a little star. I was telling him earlier today that when he's on, I'm going to be totally starstruck because he's like, I know I say this about everyone, but he is the number one favorite Twitter dude of mine. Jeremy Ross. What's going on tonight, Jeremy?
How's it going, guys? Those measurements are a little bit off, but I'll take it.
A little bit leaner.
You're actually 6'4", aren't you?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Well, we want to thank you for being on. I know you're kind of busy with all your schedule, but we always kind of just like to get a little background on you to let the listeners know who maybe aren't familiar with you and have been living under a rock.
Yeah,
so how did you get into crypto? What were some deciding factors for you to get in?
Well, so like at the start, I started in mid-2013 kind of, and I was working like a shitty kind of job, and I saw a YouTube video, an RT video of Max Kaiser talking about Bitcoin, and it was at like $70. It was after the first run up to 100 or whatever, and he was saying it was going to go to 10,000. So I was like, all right, I'll take a look at it. So I took a look at it. Yeah, right. So I took a look at it, and like I kind of got it. Like it's a distributed money system. It made a lot of sense. So I started buying small amounts with the no money I had at the time, at around 70. And it ended up selling that at like in the 400s to move from Florida to Texas. And then when the run up happened to like 1200, I put like $400 in at the very, very top and started trading alts. And like luckily like an alt bubble hit like right the day after I put the money in. So like I was able to run that 400 into, like a pretty decent little living trading alts. So that's how I got there.
Can we make that alt bubble happen like tomorrow too?
That would be nice. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, as opposed to this like alt death spiral. That's it's just painful to watch.
And what kills me is everybody, not I shouldn't say everybody, but there's so many people on Facebook. When I started, it was next month is the month for alts. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it didn't come. And then it was, okay, now September is the month for alts. And now everyone's like, okay, December was going to be a great month. Let's shoot for January.
Alts are always back.
And there's always that dream of the altcoin spring that everybody has. Like, I keep hearing about, like, we'll just make it to spring. We'll be at 400 Satoshi on every coin, or that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, spring is the mirage in the desert in the land of altcoins.
So what do you find most intriguing about cryptocurrency? To say you're telling someone that's not in crypto, what is it that fascinates you about crypto?
Me personally, with the part of the space that I'm in, it's how easy and quickly you can move money. And that's always what it's been. Like the idea, I remember having discussions about this back when we all first started trading alts. Like the idea that you could take money from here and send it to China and then back in the same day for like $2 was crazy. You can't do that. Like that would take 2 weeks with banks, and you'd be paying all kinds of wire transfer fees and all kinds of things. So that's one of the things I usually talk about. I talk about the distributed money system. Like you don't have to have third-party verification, like a central broker verification. But yeah, it's the ease of move for me without having to have that intermediary.
You know, that's kind of what Donnie kind of touched on a couple episodes ago, is when he was saying if, you know, you want to go, say for us, we're, you know, in the United States, most of us are. And if we want to hop on the plane and go to Switzerland or whatever, you know, the government regulates how much cash you can take on a plane. So what if you're over there and stumble across something and you just don't have the financial means on you to be able to buy that? Whereas crypto would definitely allow you to, you know, throw your ledger in your pocket and carry it with you and have everything that you need right then and there.
Well, I don't know.
Although just be mindful.
That,
real quick, the government has some regulations around carrying more than 10,000 of crypto in a hardware wallet across, you know, international lines. So just be mindful.
Okay. I mean, aside from all of us on demo accounts, but
yeah, like I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it is very easy to move money around.
So let's discuss, Jeremy, where you think crypto's going, the direction that it's taking, you know, what you're kind of looking for, and what you're going to be watching moving forward.
I think it's going to be the way we move money around the planet. There's no reason for it not to be. Like, it still takes 3 or 4 days for me to transfer money from like a broker into my bank or like vice versa. And that's just crazy. Like it's literally just numbers on a screen in a bank. The fact that we can't get it from point A to point B without 4 days of verification is absurd. With crypto, we can get it from point A to point B in 20 minutes, for a couple dollars. So that'll be where we go. We'll go to blockchain for like stocks and, asset deeds and things like that. Like these things will all just take some time for infrastructure to build around them. But it doesn't make sense for us not to go there. Like it's too efficient. And it just makes way too much sense. It's especially at this point where you have the powers that be looking in on us. It's no longer just a lot of guys back like it was in 2013, 14 making kind of bullshitty tech, and trying to sell it to each other. Now it's, you know, massive billion-dollar conventions and things.
And crypto.
So like, we're there. It's just we're just pushing the snowball down the hill.
What were you gonna say, Killer?
I was just saying, and crypto kitties too.
Yeah, how weird is that?
It's one of the stranger things I've seen in crypto. I still don't really understand it, to be honest, but people are paying a lot of money apparently for these digital cats.
That's what I keep reading.
Do they do anything? What's the point of them?
People are making too much money in crypto too easily. I don't know what is.
I know.
That's what it is.
Dude, we're going to look back and like realize like, how did we not realize that was the top? Crypto kitties going for like $100,000.
I just had Chunk make me one the other day, and I mean, it took.
How'd it go?
Well, he just like photoshopped it, so don't tell anyone that.
So like it's not like a breeding kitty. You're
it's neutered. So it can't do anything.
What a responsible crypto kitty owner.
Dad, can you go get a crypto kitty, please?
Bob Barker over here.
Jeremy, touch kind of on the futures. You know, they opened up yesterday, and last I checked, I haven't really read much. It was a crazy day at work, but the CBOE futures that came out yesterday, the site crashed within, was it 8 minutes of being up? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you kind of expect stuff like that when something big and interesting launches. This wasn't the big launch, I don't think. I don't know the exact numbers, but something like you can't have that much risk on the books with these.
Yeah,
and like the margins are really tight. Yeah, the margins are
circuit breakers that stop it like within fairly normal levels of volatility in crypto, which are going to get triggered very often. They've already gotten triggered.
Yeah, but those breakers only stop for a couple minutes, so that's not a big deal. The thing is like 44% margin is crazy. Like you're betting X2.
And I think for a lot of brokers, they're not even allowing them to short yet, from what I heard too.
Is that true? Like I'm not dug into it enough because like we already have our futures market.
Yeah.
But the from what I understand, the next one is the big one.
Yeah,
like these guys are the comp.
The CME, right?
Yeah, am I wrong in that?
No, because if you look at the volume that's taken place so far on these futures, it's been pretty minimal. I think they said it was about 9 million or 9 billion of volume when Bitfinex goes through like 180 billion or something.
It's a big separation between those numbers.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
The CME, like, I think their contract sizing, it's 5 Bitcoin per contract or something like that.
Yeah, I read that.
It's crazy. It's going to be, you can't be a small fish going in to play that.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I want to get your thoughts, Jeremy, on this U.S. dollar tether thing, and if you think that's a legitimate issue or what you see happening with that, just because we talked about Bitfinex for a second.
So, yeah, this is one of those things that has strained a lot of my relationships. It's one of those things like you just don't talk about with people in the party. I think that it is most likely that it looks very suspicious when you look in on it because Bitfinex is a really suspicious company because they're trying to get around all these regulations. So like if you just look in on Bitfinex in their past and they're not KYCing people and stuff, like they're going to look really, really suspicious and they're going to have to do really shady things to not use dollars. But 2 points. I think it is most likely that they have the funds to back tether up. I'm going to start a war saying that. But I also think it is very likely, for the other side here, I'm going to sit on the fence, that the SEC will find a way to step in somehow.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But having said that, now that banks are going to have exposure to Bitcoin, the SEC is not the People's Bank of China. They're not going to step in and just destroy the market. Mm-hmm. They'll probably give us some time. There's going to be like subpoenas and papers and all kinds of things. We'll have a little lead time. Plus, you'll be able to see it from insiders in the market. Like Bitfinex will start trading at a large premium to the USD exchanges, which just hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. It's just not where we are. And that is what I would expect to happen if the writing is on the wall. Because we're not going to know the writing's on the wall until months after someone else knows the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Plus, Bitfinex and Bittrex and Polo are using it.
Yeah.
And I know Bittrex is pretty tight with regulators. I assume Polo is as well. They're both US based.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean they keep adding USDT pairs. So I might be the guy with egg on his face like there were with people with Gox later on, but my inkling is that as of now everything is fine. In the future, if they want to target, it seems pretty obvious they would go after Tether. So we'll see how good Bitfinex's lawyers are at hiding money.
They got lots of money, so I figure they got good lawyers.
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, they've been pretty good so far.
So you're kind of viewed as there's that quote-unquote OG and an expert in this space, have the ability to kind of shake up markets. So what have you done to educate yourself and, what would you tell someone getting in this space they need to do to become an expert, or maybe expert's not even the right word, but become knowledgeable in this space?
I would definitely say expert is not the right word. Cause I wouldn't call myself an expert in it. I've just been splashing around in the pond long enough to basically like know how to manage risk pretty well and know how to pick out, especially in this ICO era, or what was the ICO era, and now we're just in the you better learn to trade Bitcoin era. But in that ICO era we were in, you just got to know, you got to be able to pick out what, at least for the first wave, because there's two ways to play this, right? There's I'm going to pick a lot of ICOs and I'm going to hold them, and some of them are going to go X100 later on, and some of them aren't. And that's not really the way I'm playing it, or had been playing it. My way of playing it is more, there are some buzzwords in these that are going to trigger the community to echo chamber among itself and make them go wild on release. I think a decent example of that was like Dragon Chain recently had the Disney buzzword they just kept throwing around.
Oh yeah.
So like that's a really easy thing if I'm a buyer. And I barely talked about it after it launched, but I did talk about it during the ICO. But after it launches, like obviously people that have put money into it are going to be going in rooms and talking like Disney, even if they're not even that connected with Disney. You just have to know like that is how the echo chamber is going to go. So you have that thing with like people that, things that are connected to people like Ver or whatever, things that are connected to governments or like closely to governments, large companies, things like that. That's really my target.
I gotta say thanks for giving the heads up about Dragon Chain there on Twitter. You made a tweet about it pretty early during the ICO, and that was the only reason I even looked into it. So I gotta give you a shout out for that one. Thank you.
Did you get in?
Yeah, I think he got in.
Kill, right? That was a nice one.
Did I get in?
I'm a dipshit and did not get in, so. You're full-time in crypto, if I'm not mistaken, but give us a rundown of a typical day. A lot of us are still wage douches, so we still go to work 8 to 5 and, have periodic bathroom breaks to check our phones. So give us just a rundown of a typical day in your life.
Well, recently I haven't had that much of a schedule. It's been like wake up, go to the gym, because I just moved to a new apartment recently, and I'm also traveling a lot. So like the travel has really changed the game for me. I haven't been as active in the trading space as I usually am. But like if I was actively trading, it would be a get up, go to the gym, eat breakfast kind of thing, and then just like camp in front of the computer or around my apartment where I've got screens everywhere. And you've got your chart drawn up, and I guess you just like study Bitcoin talk threads, maybe looking for ICOs. Like I said, like this era seems to be more, you just need to know how to trade Bitcoin, because as it's going parabolic, it's just killing the entire alt market. So sure. Like, how are you going to trade that? But some of the higher caps, like Litecoin just had its USD run. Monero, I don't want to get that wrong. Monero recently had its run. It's like there are some higher cap alts you could trade, but right now it's just get up, look at Bitcoin, try and set some buy targets, hope you hit your buy targets.
Yeah, that's an interesting point real quick. We've had a couple people comment on how they trade mainly Bitcoin. I think A, because there's the most liquidity there, and B, because you're trading Bitcoin against dollars, which is at least a stable benchmark. If you look at a lot of altcoin markets, really most of them, if not all of the really big ones with a lot of liquidity, you're trading against the Bitcoin ratio, which makes things a lot trickier. Yeah. And so especially if you're new to the space and you're just trying to figure out things like addresses and wallets and all that, you log into an exchange and you go ETH 0.06 B, like what? Like what does that mean? Like you have no idea what it means. So, I mean, trading Bitcoin is a lot easier in that regard just because you don't have to think of that other aspect of it, which is constantly going up and down against it. So,
yeah, I mean, like I used to make, I made my name trading alts. Like I would much, much rather be trading alts, because in alts you're trying to pick out, X50s. It's a lot more fun. And like a lot of people make their game scalping alts, and more power to them. That's just a little more ballsy than I like to be. So right now it's like I said, like when you're going parabolic, there's just, with everything paired against Bitcoin, you're just falling into a pit. Like you can try and trade alts against USD, but good luck making money that way as opposed to just holding Bitcoin.
That's such a good point too. More of the newer people in the markets, they got to realize this coming into the crypto that, just because your US dollar is going up doesn't mean you're actually making all that much money.
And I think for me, being the newest out of us, that was the hardest thing for me to grasp was, well, my, USD is up, but then when I switch over to Bitcoin amount, it was down, and I was like, well, what the fuck? But eventually, it's just kind of like I just had it in like okay, I got it kind of moment.
Yeah, but it's funny, even I remember when I first got into the markets, I started trading on Kraken, God, what an adventure that was.
Huge mistake.
Yeah, didn't go back there very quickly. Haven't since, but yeah, I remember like just when I started, I was just trading in US dollar pairing. Like that was the only charts I was even looking at. And I remember I posted a chart in the Trading View chat, and some guy just chewed into me. He was like, "Why are you charting that in US dollar? Chart it in Bitcoin." And I'm like, what? It just didn't make sense to me. But then, you get this learning curve around, you get your head around it. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, when I started the alt game, like I started on Cryptsy, and it was all Bitcoin alts. So like that's what I grew up in. That's what I learned how to trade in. So I never had that transition period. It was always, and I was coming in like let's say you're a new person and you come in at the very top of whatever the top of this is. Like your mindset is going to be, I need to get as many Bitcoin as I can. Mm-hmm. And that was my mindset at the top of the last one, when I started trading, until about $500 of Bitcoin. I realized it wasn't going to go back up for a while. Then my mindset switched. But yeah, when that's your mindset, it's a lot different than I need to get as many dollars as I can.
It is. Yeah. It's a complete change.
And I feel like you fall more into that the longer you're in crypto too. It's like when I first got involved, it's like I was like, yeah, this is a cool thing. I can make money from this. Coming from a traditional investment background, I'm like, yeah, this could be a good thing for some momentum investing, yada yada. But I didn't really buy into the whole crypto could be this gigantic thing sort of mindset. And the longer I'm in it, the more I really kind of see how that can be possible. And I think that's a pretty common thought process for a lot of people who get involved with it. There's a long period of, okay, this is kind of cool, I can make money, but, it's kind of bullshit at the end of the day. Which slowly transitions into, this is a really legitimate thing that can, A, have a lot of uses in the world, and B, make me a lot of money. So
yeah, I would argue that I have felt this become more and more legitimate from 200 to 16,000 here. At 17,000, I felt it was very, very legitimate. It's a little less legitimate at 16.5, but we'll get back to 17.
Yeah, it's been fun kind of keeping up with your tweets, Jeremy, on, talking about like the impact of financial independence. And I want to kind of sum up a tweet that you had that's really resonated with me, and I'd like you to kind of maybe elaborate on it, how crypto can kind of give you that financial independence. I believe it, and I'm summing it up here, so don't quote me. You said something like, if it wasn't for crypto, I'd still be working a job that I hate right now, which really resonated with me and maybe more so motivated me to think, okay, let's really put our nose to the grindstone and make a shit ton of money and help maybe improve this space so that I'm not a wage douche, so to say.
A wage douche. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's probably better summed up saying learning to trade kept me out of, like, doing jobs I hated. But, like there's a difference between trading in a space where you kill for 10%.
Right.
And a space where you're trying to pick X50s. Like, that's literally what you're trying to do. Or you're trading something that's 20% swings every single day. So you get this very, very fast education in how to trade, especially if you add a little margin into it. Like, you just age very, very quickly in this space. Whereas I think if you were trading in other spaces, it's a lot slower paced. And you see that with some of the older guys that are coming into this space, where like they're used to their old game, and they get in our game and they quickly divulge into like the kind of like shit posty world that we're in. Just because we're trying to like blow off some of the steam from like just going 100 miles an hour at all times.
It's so true, man. Like, there's nothing more comforting after like a terrible liquidation than like hopping on Telegram or Twitter and being like, oh my God, I just got fucking wrecked, guys. And everyone's like, oh no, really? And you're like, yeah, really. I feel a little better now though.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what my Twitter is. It's just me blowing off steam.
Yeah.
Like I try and put a call out every now. Like, if I see a really, really sick ICO play, I'll talk about it. Or if like there's a really easy long, I'll try and like throw it out there. But mostly at this point, when I started out, I was all calls all the time back in 2014, 15. But now it's just like, why? I'm just going to have fun and like be part of, because people, you need that part of the narrative. Like, and it's fun to be that part of the narrative, the like shitposty trolly part of the narrative. It's a fun time. Like that's not so much like me every single day of my life. Not the guy like pranking people on the street. I'm generally a nice person, but
it's funny because you can see the evolution of crypto Twitter accounts, because they'll come in and they'll start off, usually you'll see them going heavy on making calls, posting charts, doing all their TA, and then if they're lucky enough that they can survive and they stick around, you start to see the calls dwindle down and it becomes more just shit posting. And just the evolution of the crypto Twitter trader.
That's been my exact progression, Prince. Like when I first started, this guy, iBank Bitcoin, was like my inspiration. I was like, oh, this guy's like a serious trader. He posts all his entries, his exits. And so that's what I aspired to be when I first started out. And I was like, fuck, like, the people who are shitposting are getting way more retweets than likes. Like, I think I gotta alter the strategy here. And, I don't think I'm as good at shitposting, so I don't know how soon. I mean, it's been alright, but I'm trying to do what I do.
Dude, I live for shitposting.
No way!
The thing about making calls all the time is like, what happens is you hit a couple, and you hit a couple really good ones, especially if you're calling alts. So you hit a couple X20s, and then you get like all these new people following you. And then they start rushing into the things you start calling, and then like immediately dumping them when they don't pump that day. So you end up in this weird spiral, in like the lower level alt market where like you literally can't make good calls anymore because of the people following you. Or you're doing it in Bitcoin and you hit a couple good ones, and then inevitably you're going to hit a couple bad trades, and people don't know your stops. They don't know when you're getting out. So it just looks like you don't know what you're talking about anymore.
Yeah.
People are just generally unreasonable too. They expect you to be some kind of wizard who can predict price movements. It's super hard to do short term. I mean, long term, it's rather easy, but short term, it's super tough to do. And people don't really get that. Even the best pros in equities can't do it.
We're just playing probability.
Yeah.
That's it. People seem to think that, oh no, it's not a probability. It's going to happen. Like nothing's for sure in the market unless you got a tip or insider info. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. So you're just playing probability.
We're all drawing like fake lines on charts and like looking at like 50%, 52% indicators and like hoping they're right this time.
Yeah,
and people,
exactly.
if you don't know that, like when you're getting in, you're like, oh, this diagonal line is Jesus, and I'm going to follow Jesus.
Yeah, you could have the best TA in the world and something could do it. Everything could line up and it could still not go your way.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that burns my ass is getting the constant DMs of, what do you think of this coin? What do you think of that coin? It's like, there's 1,300 and I probably have it the least out of everyone here. I can't imagine what Jeremy and Killer get. Is you guys have over 10,000 followers, but like I get DMs all the time. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm like, I never fucking heard of it.
Yes, that is my response. Well, like when I responded, that was my response as well. It's like, I don't know.
No, I'm scared to like even hit the accept button, when you get a request. It's like, like you feel like you're gonna get a virus even by hitting accept.
Oh no, I don't hit accept anymore. I just I scroll over on the side. I'm usually on my phone because I travel so much now. I like to look over, but you still get to look at it, which is nice.
Yeah. The creepiest ones are when they just send you, hi. It's like,
hey there, buddy.
So Jeremy, I want to kind of build on something. I didn't put this in what I sent you, but it just kind of resonated with me. I think it was my second week in crypto. I had sent you a message and just kind of said, what advice do you give to someone new? And you responded back to me and you said to network. You said, get out and talk to as many people as you can, build relationships. But then you said, but never trust anybody. So tell us what networking in this space means to you, what it's done for you, and maybe to just piggyback on what I said and how important it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, making friends on Twitter, getting in the Telegram groups that you can, all of the Telegram groups that you can. There are, like, melting pots that you will find. Like, you'll find a room of 1,000 people. And through that 1,000 people, you're connected to pretty much everything. You just got to find the right people to, like, weasel into the right other rooms and to make the right groups together. And also, like, you're dealing with a lot of money here. So you can't put your trust in most people. Like, there's very little loyalty around. But, people are going to be loyal to the point where they can until it's their money on the line, right?
For sure.
Because, like, we all want to be friends. We all want to be, like, we all want to have crypto kumbaya moments. But there are some times when you just gotta sell into a wall. you just gotta get out. It's gonna come up. But yeah.
And look what it's done for us, Killer Prince and myself. Killer put out a link one time. I think you started the pod when you were drunk, actually.
I did,
and
bro. It was like, it was literally like 1:00 on like a Saturday night, and I got home and I was shit-faced, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a Telegram group. Everybody's doing it. I had this idea. Like, everybody was starting paid Telegram groups, and I was like, what if I start a free one? And I was like, hey, it's free, everybody, and whatever. Yeah.
And now look what it's come to is what I'm getting at. We have a podcast and we're still a bunch of D-bags, but
yeah, and like if y'all do this for a year, like you don't know what kind of connections you're going to get, what kind of like random pre-sales that you'll get in, or what kind of like inside line you'll get on.
Dude, already the connections have been incredible. Just having amazing guests, like just talking to people through that, and like the connections that people listening to the episodes have created and the support. It's been amazing. So thank you to all our fans real quick.
It's kind of funny too. I entered I think it was Gat's chat room the other day, and I said something, and someone was like, "Holy shit, it's Crypto Dale from the podcast." And I was just like, "Dude, shut up! I'm not even like that level."
Made it to Disneyland.
Yeah, I called mom. My mom. I'm like, "Mom, we made it."
Yeah, that stuff's weird, isn't it? Someone recognizes you from the internet, and you're like, "Yo, you like." I don't wear pants much, man. Come on.
Like, yeah, you're catching me out of my normal state. I've got pants on.
I don't interact with people often.
All right, so we're going to jump to something new here called Contrarian Corner that Killer thought of. This is going to be awesome. So what it is all of us are going to make a bold prediction that's going to happen within a year. Okay? So, and just so everybody knows, Contrarian Corner is sponsored by Logo Billy. If you're looking for a logo designer who can help you brand your project beautifully, you should look at contacting him by going to logo-billy.com or billy-rose.com. We love you, Randy. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that Lux is going to be $50 by June.
$50 Lux.
I don't even know what that is.
Wait, by June?
By June, baby.
All right. I hope so.
Jeremy, I'll shill the shit out of it to you. We can talk after this.
All right.
Killer.
All right, I'll go next. I'm going Ethereum 2000 within a year. I think that's fairly likely. I think as more and more people go on a Coinbase, flood into it, I think Litecoin recently had its kind of Coinbase new money run. And I think Ethereum is going to get that. And I think as more people do research, I mean, when I first came into the space, I was like, okay, Bitcoin's this sort of digital money, but Ethereum's like this digital money plus like smart contracts, all that stuff. Like, however much you buy into that now, when new people come into the space, that's what they think. And I've talked to so many new people who are like, dude, why would you ever buy Bitcoin? And I'm like, yeah, there are some reasons. Like, there are some good reasons, but they're like, Ethereum's so much better in every single way. And that's what new people think. And that's going to drive the price up. So I think Ethereum 2000 minimum within a year.
Oh, my bold prediction. Mine's not even in the crypto markets. I'm going, VIX is going to go up to $30 next year. Volatility index. Go buy some calls.
I thought you were going to tell me you'd be married within a year.
Kidding me?
Jeremy, you got one?
As we dump out here, I'm going to go with the one that's kind of crowded right now, because there's enough cover that nobody can pull this and call me too stupid on it. I'll go with the Bitcoin 50,000 next year. Yeah, I think that alts as a whole, like, I don't think we'll ever get to like that dominance index. Like, there will never be another the flippening. Like, it's done. Bitcoin is the money in this space, and there will be some tech tokens that people will try and sell that'll sell well. But like, like Bitcoin is the dollar of this. Like there is not going to be anything that will ever surpass it. Like Ethereum's not going to be the money. Litecoin's not going to be the money. Litecoin may be the vehicle to transfer money because Bitcoin's so expensive right now. But yeah, I'll go with the Bitcoin 50,000 because Peter went there, and
I like that number.
I won't get in too much trouble if I'm wrong.
I do too. Pod highlights. I just want to apologize to the pod. If you're listening, which I know all 125 of you are, I have been so MIA this last couple days. And I think Mav was called me out on it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did like an hour ago.
But it's a bad time at work for me with renewals and Christmas shopping and all that fucking
Excuses, Dale.
I know.
Yeah. I, for one, am disgusted at this half-hearted apology.
You guys are just fucking riling up the troops, aren't you?
Maybe.
You got anything chapping your
Fucking
asses?
exam week. Everything's chapping my ass. I was writing a test today and I had to take a dump the entire time. I wasn't smart enough to ask the teacher to, can I go to the bathroom during the exam? And so I'm sitting there and I was just sweating, I had to go so bad, but
dude, Prince is texting us about this, and we're like, dude, why didn't you just go to the bathroom? And he's like, bro, there were a bunch of hot chicks around me, and I just didn't want to make a scene. I knew I was sweating a lot. And I was like, oh my God, bro. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Just do it.
Thinking you're gonna have a heart attack because you're sweating so much.
The tenor of
proceeds
this really
to bomb the final.
exam
Too much stress holding the poop in.
No.
And neither did the toilet afterwards.
Yeah, no shit.
Wow. As we continue, like y'all are dumping with Bitcoin.
Yo, I've been watching this. Speaking of that, I've been watching this fucking Mex chart during this podcast. I'm quite irate right now. I think I'm about to be liquidated. Yeah, I'm within like $100. It's gonna
Who's
be close.
Raytheon, bro?
What's that? Yo,
who's Raytheon?
Nobody, brah. I made my own. I stuck it to the man.
He's got one to anyone listening. Everyone here has a reference.
No. I'm off that BitMEX. I'm on that one broker. Earn that passive income. One Fox is coming soon. OneFox.ca.
I won't shill my reference.
An epic shill.
I'm not going.
Aww.
All right, so speaking of shill, a couple weeks ago I did a contest for 2 winners of 50 lux. All right, so the stipulation was, and I'm not big on contests, I was just feeling generous and had a weak moment, so you guys are fucking lucky. Okay, so the rules were you had to retweet the tweet, follow myself, follow Crypto Street Podcast on Twitter, and post a picture of proof that you subscribed. So I did 2 winners. I had to draw fucking 6 times because people didn't follow those simple fucking instructions. Like, seriously, okay? So the 2 people that I named now, you have 24 hours from the release of this podcast to send me a message on Twitter, okay? So the first one, it's Hellerox, Hellerox. And the next one is the fucking stupidest name, Bunny_crypto. Love your name. Shoot me a message. Bunny_crypto. Okay? 24 hours, otherwise we redraw next time. All right. Anything else to add, Jeremy?
No. I think that y'all ripped on that last 5 minutes pretty well. I'll let you close it out there.
Hey, thank you very much for being on, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed it, guys.
Appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for listening again. And as always, remember to tip your waitress. We'll talk soon.
Adios.